Namaste, blessings, beautiful soul. So we're going to do a kind of yin style practice today. So I invite you to have some bricks or blocks or something that you can use. Remember, yin yoga is, we tend to hold poses a little bit longer so we can really sink into it and invite the body to open up a lot more. So sometimes it's restorative stretches where there's no real muscular effort, and other times we just kind of use props and we hang out a little bit longer. So we're really stretching on every level, right down to, you know, imagine like the bones, the tendons, the ligaments, even the blood vessels, the skin, you know, everything. So we're going to be doing some work today that helps to release tension in our hips, because a lot of us hold a lot of tension in our hips, especially the hip flexors, because we all spend more time sitting nowadays. And if you have tight hip flexors, that can also end up kind of causing back pain, back discomfort as well, because if we're in kind of this position, we tend to be a lot tight here, and it kind of pulls everything out of shape. If you have any issues with your knees, make sure you've got plenty of padding, thick mat, or you can use, some people use like literally the pads that go under those knees. So just take a moment in any position that suits you, just to close your eyes and simply check in, noticing how you're feeling. Now, I like to do this for several reasons, in no particular order. One, the fact that on the mat, it's about having the constant conversation with your body. It's about getting rid of any idea of perfect poses or trying to fit in a particular shape. You know, remembering that our needs change on a day-to-day basis. And we need to see what our body needs today, not what it needed yesterday or what it might need tomorrow. And so really taking the time, because we've got so many distractions all around us nowadays in our life. You know, so many things grabbing our attention, that when we close our eyes and check in, it really turns our attention inwards for a little while. At least we can forget about anything that's going on in the rest of our life and just really focus on the here and now, which is the only time we're actually truly alive, right? You know, the future, whether it's an hour's time, that's not there yet. The past, even an hour ago, that's been and gone. So about being really present, and also enables you to notice how the practice affects you. And you can do the same practice several times and it affects you differently each time. So checking in before, you can notice if you're feeling a bit stressed or a bit tired or whatever, how you feel at the end. So that even if there's only a subtle difference, you still notice a difference. Because you might think, well, I still feel X, Y, Z. But yes, but you feel less stressed. You feel less angry, less pissed off, less whatever, you know, and it's noticing those small, subtle differences. Sometimes it's a big difference, sometimes it's a subtle difference. And it just takes a time also to treat practice as a nourishing practice rather than, you know, just exercise that you need to get out of the way. You know, it's not a punishment, it's a celebration of your body, of your aliveness. We want to feel that sense of aliveness. So although it's going to be quite a slow practice, I want you to really focus on that sense of aliveness, from the heart beating, from the air moving in and out of your lungs, from the blood rushing around the body, from the energy flowing to every part of your body. And we also help to notice those places where it's stuck, that we can send the breath where it's needed, and just really, you know, honor ourselves and say, treat this as a form of self-care, self-nourishment. So take a nice deep breath in and sigh it out. And opening your eyes and coming out. So we're going to come into a lunge. So we're going to grab your blocks. And so it's really important to make sure that your knees are looked after. So I've got about 3 or 4 mats here, so my knees are well looked after. And you're going to place the blocks either side of the mat here, and you're going to come up onto your knees, and we're going to step the right foot forward. And I've got a big step forward. So again, just take time to make sure your back knee is comfortable here. So if it feels like the skin's being squished, then just take a moment just to adjust like that. And we're just going to move a little bit, hinging forward and back, just feeling into it. Okay, feeling into it, exploring. Notice how tight or not you feel on this side. And notice also, where does a stretch become a strain? Where does tension come in? Because I often notice a lot of people when they're coming forward into a lunge here, the upper body tightens. So it's like, oh, I'm getting a good stretch, but the upper body tightens. We want the upper body to relax as well. So you want to almost feel like the chest is nice and open, rather than, there's no point coming forward and back if the upper body is moving as a whole. We want to move so we feel a stretch. So noticing all those kind of things. You know, are you doing this? Or are you able to keep your upper body? So it's almost going opposite to the leg. So as the leg goes forward, see if you can lean back a little bit through the chest. Lifting your eye gaze up. And make sure also you're not doing that, because I see that sometimes, like, oh, I'm lifting my eye gaze up, yeah, but the rest of you's not following. So, you know, lift through the chest. In fact, bring one hand, or both hands to start with, to your chest, and notice what happens to your chest as you bend the knee. Does the chest come closer to your leg, or are you able to lift it upwards? Again, just noticing those things. And if you are kind of coming forward like that, is there anything you can do to allow yourself to lift up? At what point, as you come forward, does it become too tight that your chest has to follow? Is there a certain point where you can lift your chest and so you feel that stretch? Sometimes we're a bit nervous about a strong stretch. We're like, oh, it's going to hurt. Oh, and we tense up without knowing that we're doing it. And again, it's just noticing all these things. Then we're going to settle down into the lunge, and you're going to get your bricks, say whatever you have. If you haven't got bricks, just whatever you have, and bring your hands either side. Now notice my hands, my brick is slightly in line with the heel as opposed to the foot. And again, notice strong stretch. Remember the difference. One of the things we need to do is learn the difference between pain and discomfort, because sometimes discomfort we can mistake for pain. Now, the best way I find of describing it, and if there's another way, I'm always open to it, is thinking of like if I was to stick my thumb in your thigh, if I was to press really hard, it's uncomfortable, but you can bear it. Whereas if I was to get a big needle and stab that needle in your thigh, you'd probably like swear and hit me. That to me is a difference between discomfort and pain. Discomfort, we can bear it, we can breathe through it. Pain is where you kind of hold the breath and you tense and tighten and you cannot relax into it. Now I might find that, okay, my foot feels a little bit too far forward here, so it feels like a little bit of a strain. So I push it back a little bit and find a point again where I can kind of relax into it. And if you need to have blocks higher up, again, you can do that. And we're just gonna stay here and breathe. So it feels like a strong stretch, even for me, it feels a strong stretch here, but I can breathe into it. And you can just stay here, or you can perhaps bring a little bit of movement into your head and neck. Also notice as you do that, where else you feel a stretch as you're moving. So as I drop my chin down, I start to feel a stretch along the spine. So noticing all these things. And keeping the breath flowing, make sure that you can breathe with ease. And when I say with ease, I mean that there's no kind of points where you're holding the breath or kind of like hitching the breath where you kind of thing. The breath is nice and smooth. And if you find it's too strong, you can. Does it feel nicer to move in and out of it? Because remember, when something's uncomfortable, we tend to avoid things that are uncomfortable. And that often includes situations in life, but we can't always avoid something that's uncomfortable. So if we get used to breathing into discomfort on the mat, then we're more able to breathe into discomfort off the mat, a kind of uncomfortable situation off the mat. you're going to release, you're going to come back, you're going to take a moment noticing how that side feels. And do the same on the other side. So I'm just going to turn around this time, just so you can get a different angle. So we're going to step the left foot forward. We're going to adjust the back knee as you need to. And again, just kind of playing around with it a little bit, seeing how it feels. Noticing what point, because often what happens in a lunge is we focus on the lower body. And when I say sink into the lunge, I say a lot of people do this. And the reason for that is it's tight. It's tight. So to lift up increases the stretch. If you imagine a muscle down the front of the body to the front of the leg, you're stretching it here. So we get to a certain point and it's tight. So we kind of like upper body comes forward. So notice that point. Where is that point? Is it here? Is it here? Is it here? Is it here? Again, notice that point where you feel that tightness. And can you pause there? Are you able to breathe into it? Maybe take a deep breath in. Exhale deliberately out. So again, don't beat yourself up. It's not like, oh, I'm stupid, I can't do blah, blah, blah. No, it's, it's about listening to your body and also noticing how you talk to yourself. Because when you talk to yourself in that way, oh God, I'm rubbish, I can't do X, Y, Z, that's probably how you talk to yourself off the mat. And that ain't going to do you any favors either. Treating yourself like crap is not going to help you stretch deeper. So you can kind of make different movements, maybe even circle it around a little bit and jiggle it out, play around with it, explore. I was doing something this morning, right? I've been doing a certain pose a certain way for 20 odd years. And some days it feels okay, some days not. And this morning I thought, I wonder what happens if I do this. It's like, oh my God, that's so much better. So even after 20 years, right? Even after 20 years, I discovered something. So when you feel like you can come forward and relax, you can adjust that knee if you wish. Then see if you can bring your hands either side. Again, don't have to be either side of the foot. So if I take my hands forward here, notice how my chest comes forward. So I want to try and open up through the chest. So that might mean having a block on top of a block. So that might mean stacking the blocks higher. That's a good thing about props, is that you can use them to help you out. And again, you might bring a little bit of movement in, either the same movement as last time, or maybe different, maybe side to side. Again, notice where else you feel the stretch as you do that. And notice if you're holding the breath. Imagine breathing into those tight spots. And then easing off, coming back, and just finding a position you can relax in for a moment. Simply noticing how you're feeling right now. I'm going to try that again. So coming back up, because sometimes the second time around it feels different. So stepping your right foot forward, and maybe even try stepping it a little bit wider. See if you can lift through the chest. Breathe in as you breathe out, coming forward. Again, keeping the chest nice and open, noticing if there's a point where a stretch becomes a strain. This time we're going to try and bring both hands to the floor inside. You're going to adjust the back knee if you need to. You can use your blocks here, you can use your bricks here, you can maybe come down a little bit lower. As if you're coming down onto your elbows, even if you don't quite manage it on your elbows, you can relax your head. Relax your chest. Again, don't be afraid to bring in little kind of micro movements. Wiggle around, as I say. Wiggle, jiggle, explore. We're going to release our jaw here. So you can, imagine you've got a really chewy, big gobstopper chewing gum in your mouth. And if that feels silly, that's okay. Notice where else it releases tension. You can do sound effects or not. It's up to you. Imagine I got a giant bit of chewing gum in my mouth. Make yourself laugh. I'm just going to bring a bit of fun. You can do a horse impression. Even though my horses don't quite do that bit. And you'll notice how these things may free up tension. Sometimes just taking your mind off something can allow tension to release. You might think, oh, I was holding that a minute ago and now it's not so bad. You might even try playing around with your hand position. You may even bring a little bit of movement in side to side. Again, really explore. That's what I was doing this morning. I was really exploring. I was like, oh, what happens if I do this? What happens if I move my knee this way? What happens if I flex my foot as opposed to pointing it, or vice versa? So again, don't be afraid to literally play, explore. Then you're going to gently make your way out. Again, gently, slowly, take your time. Feel your way out. Be mindful. You might have a little hamstring stretch on the way. You're going to bring that foot around. We're going to do a little counter pose. You're going to do a little forward bend. So you're going to tuck your toes under. And you're going to press up into a forward bend. Now you may do a little, again, jiggle here. Don't know where the sound effect's coming from, by the way. Then come back down. Find your way down and taking the left foot forward. So you've got to bring element of fun, okay? You've got to have a element of fun. Life's so serious as it is, right? You know, you need to play around with it. Like when we were kids, you know, we would tend to be fearless when we were kids. So have a bit of fun with it. And that's when it's good to have a bit of music. I don't know where it's coming from. It's okay. Again, coming down, adjust that knee, bring the hands inside. Notice how it feels on this side. And don't feel like you have to do exactly the same on this side either. Don't feel like, oh, I've got to do this. What do I do on the other side? I need to do it on this side. You can adapt it. That's why I said listening to your body. And by the way, going back to that funny woohoo-ness, there's a little kid inside all of us. It's still there. Just because we grow up, you know, we're kind of told, oh, you need to behave, you need to be serious. But the little kid that's inside us says it's nonsense. So don't feel like, you know, those who stay playful tend to literally stay younger for longer in mind and body. So have a play, have a play, have a play. Again, find that. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah. Notice how when we're holding tension in our jaw and face, we're usually holding it somewhere else, and vice versa. When we free tension in our jaw and face, we tend to free it elsewhere. And sound is good for releasing tension as well. And you might find, oh, somewhere else it's like, oh yeah, just right there. Yeah, I need to get in there. And then again, finding your way out. Coming back, finding your way into that forward bend, tucking the toes under, pouring yourself into that forward bend, either just staying here, hanging here, or say if you want to put some music on, that's why it's good to put some music on. I don't know if it works very well through the microphone, but I'll try it next time. If not, imagine a song in your heart, in your head. I was in the supermarket yesterday and this guy was talking to the cashier. He said, I remember when. I was like, I remember when I lost my mind. Oh dear, it's been a full moon. And then when you're ready, finding your way back to stillness. You can bring your legs out, you can shake them out. Give them a little rub, say thank you legs, thank you hips, thank you body. And just noticing how you're feeling right now. And notice how it feels just to be a bit silly. I mean, you know, who says it's silly? Who says it's silly? Look at children, right? Next time you think, oh, I'm being silly, look at children. Look how carefree and energized and healthy and bright and light they are. And tell me again that it's being silly. Bring your hands to your heart, heart to your hands. Take a little bow to seal your practice. Namaste. Blessings. Beautiful friend. I'd love to hear your experiences, comments, whatever. Let me know. And enjoy, enjoy, enjoy.